Good evening. Estimates are that 1 in 10 high school students has difficulty focusing during the school day. For students with ADHD, it is almost nearly impossible for them to focus on the task at hand when they could be playing Retro Bowl, consuming inane low-value content, or asking Google search for an AI response that they use in an assignment. Or the students persistently find ways to circumvent the restrictions. There's almost no SR&R consequences for misuse of tech during school, except when parents flag it for the administrators, which is a huge disincentive. They have told us that they can't address all violations of the SR&R as it relates to tech, except on a case-by-case basis. As a result, it's another game of whack-a-mole, as parents flag yet another movie that's uploaded, or a game, usually hosted on FCPS Google sites. Some of the teachers have simply refused to use Lightspeed during the class time because they don't have time, they don't have the bandwidth. What twilight zone am I in when for more than 5 years I have been begging reliance on tech and the distractions during the school day on the school-provided device, and ask you to create better policies that will enable students to actually experience deep, sustained learning and focus. I brought these up many times, and the questions are, well, it's the district's responsibility, and the district IT staff says, oh, it's the school policy responsibility. So if this becomes a policy question, I beg you, please create policies to reduce the reliance on one-to-one tech, especially before high school. When I've addressed these concerns, I'm usually met with, well, tech is a part of your child's future. He should figure out how to learn it. But guess what? A car is too, and I'm not giving the keys to a 5th grader. Thank you.
Ilana Jurgen-Doniger.
Hi, 2 minutes is hard. My name is Ilana Jurgen-Doniger. I've been an FCPS parent for almost 9 years now. I believe strongly in giving back to my community and have done significant volunteering through the years, including advocacy related to screen time and EdTech starting in 2018. I served for 4 years on the School Health Advisory Committee, during which we spent a lot of time focusing on EdTech and hearing stories about the very inconsistent ways that devices are used from classroom to classroom and school to school. I'm sharing this background to explain that I've been following EdTech issues for a while, and I'm also aware of the frequent cavernous gap between FCPS policies and their classroom implementation. Now AI. On February 10th, the school board had an AI work session where FCPS shared pro-AI slides that shared a theoretical framework for students to use AI in a way that would theoretically allow FCPS to prosper, prepare, and protect. The slides relied heavily on a 2026 AI in Education report by the Brookings Institute. But not once in the presentation was anything mentioned about an important conclusion in that same report. Brookings summarized this conclusion in a very brief article overviewing its 219-page report. I quote, and this is a quote, after interviews, focus groups, and consultations with over 500 students, teachers, parents, education leaders, and technologists across 50 countries, a close review of over 400 studies, and a Delphi panel, we find that at this point in its trajectory, the risks of utilizing generative AI in children's education overshadow its benefits. This is largely because the risks of AI differ in nature from its benefits. That is, these risks undermine children's foundational development and may prevent the benefits from being realized. End quote. That's from Brookings. I'm almost out of time, but to me the biggest reason to keep AI out of kindergarten through 11th grade classrooms is the fact that these are the years when kids are developing neural connections and building their adult brains, and we should not be experimenting on this current generation of kids to see what their adult brains look like after their growing brains were weakened by AI-driven cognitive offloading for creative and academic tasks. Thank you for your time.
I'm here to ask the board to roll back the use of technology in our schools, especially in elementary school, and pause the AI demonstration initiative. The National Education Policy Center states research does not support claims that EdTech platforms improve upon traditional low-tech schooling. Likewise, research does not support the efficacy of introducing AI into educational processes. Evidence is accumulating about the negative effects of young people's technology use on the quality of their education, their mental and physical health, and their privacy. In addition, the American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, recently issued its policy statement on the digital ecosystem in youth. They warn that the current digital environment is not designed around children's developmental needs. The statement highlights concern about attention fragmentation, reduced sleep, mental health risks, problematic media use, and the displacement of critical developmental activities like face-to-face interaction, physical activity, and deep learning. The AAP emphasizes that technology use must be developmentally appropriate and carefully evaluated for benefit versus harm, especially in school settings where exposure is mandatory, prolonged, and largely unavoidable for children. Some argue that technology is the future and children simply need to adapt. But when it comes to other aspects of development, independence, emotional maturity, we do not expect children to just adapt. We scaffold learning intentionally. We protect childhood development. The nation's recent report card showed historic academic declines and the downward trend beginning around 2013 when technology use increased. Working in the mental health field, I hear of growing struggles with focused communication and problem solving. These are foundational life skills. When I asked the county for evidence that the educational platforms being used are effective, I received industry-sponsored studies. History has shown through tobacco, vaping, and even aspects of the opioid crisis that relying on industry to prove its own safety or effectiveness does not protect children. Please prioritize child development over device deployment. This is not about rejecting technology. It's about using it responsibly, intentionally.
Chair Anderson, that was